Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be exploring the option of can you remove a 3.6 liter V6 through the top of the Equinox? Let's get to it. So I have always steered clear of these Equinoxes. Main reason is most of them come with a V6. They can come with 4 cylinders, but most of them I ever come across come with a V6. They always have timing chain issues and they need their engine replaced. I don't have an engine hoist, I don't have a car lift currently. I have an engine hoist, but I don't have a car lift, and I cannot lift the car up to drop the cradle and the engine, transmission, and everything out at once. So I need the engine to come up through the top. So I finally bit the bullet. I bought one of these. I picked it up pretty cheap, and I'm going to try to remove the engine through the top. I didn't start the video with me doing all the work on it. This is more of a, hey, can you do it? And then let's see if we can do it, because I've gotten to a point where I feel pretty comfortable that you can. So let's go ahead and get a little closer look. So like I said, this is the 3.6 liter V6. It's the one that always has the timing chain issues, the one that people never really replace them in time. This one has 206,000. Who knows if they've ever been replaced? Probably why it detonated. But we can go ahead and take a deeper dive, take a look, see why you usually can't remove these through the top, what you might need to do to remove them through the top if you need to, and let's see if we can actually get it up out of there, because it's still in there. This is not a 100% sure thing. We might actually conclude this with, yeah, I was wrong. I need to get this to the bottom, but I got a feeling I'm gonna be able to. So that's the reason we're doing this video, so let's jump in there. So here's the engine bay within the Equinox. As you can tell, it probably doesn't look remotely like how it does from the factory. The engine cover's off, we got the intake off, we got the wire harness all spun and thrown over to the driver's side. Power steering pump's loose and off. Pretty much the only thing left that I have to do on this is the power steering pump. We need to do the coolant lines, we need to do the bell housing bolts, the fuel lines, we need to do the torque converter, and the engine mount over here on the side. After that, this engine hopefully should be able to come back up. So the reason why I think I'm able to do this is because I was able to get all the parts underneath on the firewall off from underneath the car. There's parts underneath there, they're like the engine mount, the catalytic converter that's hooked to the exhaust manifold. There's also parts underneath there like heat shields. So I was able to get all that off there without moving the engine, without any struggle, honestly. Also took out the Y pipe that connects the front and the back exhaust manifolds together to send it out the back. So that's all been removed. And I can show you the parts in the trunk. It's pretty extensive list back there. But the big thing is that for some reason, you're able to remove the front brace bar out of here that kind of just allows the hood to close on. It's held in with only 3 bolts on this side, 3 bolts on that side, and then there's a few other pieces in here that holds it on, but it's not welded in on these cars, which is really good for me because I was able to just remove it from here, and now I got so much extra room right here that I think I'm just gonna be able to pick it up on through. I'm gonna probably remove the hood as well. I think the hood might get in the way, but with the brace bar out of there, I've got the extra room. Otherwise than that, I only had about 24 inches from here, and I think I need a 30. But with this out of the way, I got all the room I need. There is one other thing that I think I might have to remove, and that is the oil filter housing. So the oil filter housing is just held in with a few bolts. It sticks out about that far. So since it sticks out about that far, if I removed it, hopefully oil doesn't get all over the place, but if I remove that, I'm gonna gain this much more room for when it starts coming up out of there. So I'm going to try to leave it on because I don't want to mess, but if I have to, it's going to be no problem if I remove that. So I'm going to continue working on this. I'm not going to give you the play-by-play on working on it, but I'm going to probably show you guys as soon as I get the engine lift hooked up to it and say, let's see if we can lift this up on out of here. So I'm going to get all the rest of the pieces removed. I've already kind of posted this to my TikTok. People are saying, you can't do it, drop the cradle. Can't do it. So I'm kind of interested to see if all those naysayers are going to be proved wrong, if YouTube's going to be able to have a for sure, can you do this, and this is kind of how. So I'm really hoping that this works. If you guys can, I'm gonna leave a link to my TikTok down in the comments below. Go put a like on that and also follow me there too, because I'm trying to go live over there. So that way I can also bring just regular content from the pole barn. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get the rest of these pieces removed, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, so we went ahead and removed all the other essential parts that were leaving that on: power steering, pump, did the engine mount over there, all the bell housing bolts, the torque converter bolts. We got all the coolant lines taken off. We got the engine hoist strapped up. We did have to throw a jack underneath the transmission on the bottom there, so that way the transmission doesn't fall. It's still mounted here on the side, but just want to be safe. Otherwise than that, I think it's ready to come out. The only thing we have to do now is give it a couple tugs and see if we can split it from the bell housing from the transmission. So I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do now, is see what happens. Like I said, we might have to take off that oil filter. I mean, we've removed a lot of parts. Let me show you all the parts that we removed in the trunk here. So right there is the Y pipe, catalytic converter with the exhaust manifold, another engine mount over there. And there's the rest of the parts. Anything from battery, alternator, the ECU, the throttle body, I mean, the intake, everything's in there. So just got to keep moving along. Hopefully this is enough, and let's try to pull the engine. Well, I win. Engine's out. This is exactly what I needed to do. Didn't have the car lift, but not a big deal if you just take your time, do each step, make sure that harness is out of the way, unconnect everything just like it should be, and honestly it comes right up pretty easily. There's no engine mounts or transmission mounts left except for the one on the far driver's side, so I was able to manipulate the transmission pretty darn well to be able to get it to come out like it should. But I mean, it's out. I mean, it wasn't terrible. Took 2 days, about 7-8 hours to do. Just took my time, listened to music, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. One thing I think I would do next time, there's this big engine mount on the side. I think I'd remove that. It was scraping on the far left post, or where we removed that front brace bar. It was scraping there, so I'd probably remove that next time. The oil filter housing, not an issue at all. I think on the new one, if it's not leaking, I'll just go ahead and remove the oil filter so that way it's not in the way. But like on this one, since this is full of oil, it wasn't a big deal. I was able to pull it just like that. Antifreeze, I was able to pull the neck on the driver's side. That was a good idea. It was able to get me to the bell housing bolts a little bit easier. And then honestly, it's just a lot of steps. Probably a little bit more steps than if you had to remove the cradle and you had the car lift and everything like that. But I mean, if you don't have that, this is what you do, and you can do it. So I'm here to say that you can pull a 3.6 liter out of an Equinox. This is 2014, if you want to. So if you could, just leave me a like on the video, subscribe to my channel. Also check out my other videos. I don't think I'll have one with this coming back in. It's just not worth it. I mean, you guys seen it come out, it's the exact reverse going back in, so I probably won't have that video, but I mean, good luck if you guys are going to attempt this. Thanks for watching.